Coach.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you
Rich,
guys.
We'll start with you.
We'll go right to the obvious, Coach. Just talk about the quarterbacks, the competition, and
Yeah, no, they had good springs. Very, very smart guys. Picked up the offense. The new guys, obviously Dylan and Shaker, like to only be here in January and to be where they are now, that's a testament to them. Grayson James has done a really good job. They've all done a good job. I've been very impressed, and I think we're lucky and we're fortunate to have a quarterback room like this because those guys are very talented guys and great teammates. They're everything we're looking for at BC, no doubt about it.
so just pick up in August where you left off today?
Yeah, we'll pick up, yeah. Keep going. We got June, we got July, we got August. We got a long time before we kick it off.
When you get to this stage, you got a lot of film on everyone. Do you work on their strengths, or do you work, say, okay, these kids do this well, let's see if we can improve on this? Or do you have to work on things they need to get better at?
That's a good question. I spoke to them this morning about a little bit of both, and the coaching staff. We have to put guys in positions where they're strongest at, right? If a safety's a little bit better in the deeper part of the field, then we're going to play him more in the post safety, split safety. If he's better, down near the line of scrimmage, then we play him down near the line of scrimmage, just as an example. But I think these guys, I spoke to the team about, like, what are the 2 or 3 things that you have to work on to get better over the summer? Coaches, we have to point that out to them. But I think that's what all the great players that I've been around, they've always picked, a couple things to work on in the offseason to get better at. And, that's what's given them the edge. So we try to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, just 2 rooms that were super deep last year, the running back room and the O-line. Just tell me kind of how you're going about replacing those guys, and obviously there was a lot of veteran leadership within both. Just tell me how you kind of replace both on the field stuff and off the field stuff with those.
Yeah, I think in college, like, it's a lot different than professional football. Everybody who says this is close to professional football, it's really not. Like, that's not. The guys graduate. Yeah. They don't graduate in the pros. They maybe go to free agency, but they don't graduate. And so, we're prepared for that. From the guys that we played in the Nebraska game last year, or the guys that we played late in the season at both positions, running back and offensive line. The new guys that have arrived, getting them a bunch of reps in spring practice, we're prepared for that. I think when you look at the running back room, I'm really happy with the running back room. I think Jordan, Turbo, and Alex Broom have had really good springs, and then we add Bo McCormick and Mekhi Dodd in the summertime here, so that'll be big. The O-line room, you look at guys like, obviously, Jude Bowery, Logan Taylor. Those guys have played a lot of football for us, but then you look at the guys that we added, right, to the mix this year. Eric Doherty, for example, Dwayne Alec, who played a lot last year but has a bigger role now, Ryan Micko, Kevin Klein. I think those guys had really good springs, so, build on that during the summertime.
Speaking of graduation, you had an event last night with Alumni that came to Network. Can you talk a little bit about what that program was and what your goal was?
Yeah, that was a really good idea that we had that was headed up by Bears, Najarian, Brittany Pearson, and Maggie Barden. They all did a good job of being in contact with one of my closest friends, Mike Panos, who played here for Coach Bicknell. Coach Coughlin invited guys. We had about, I think, 15 or 16 guys from all different industries. So we had Ray Hilvert from New Balance. We had Mike Williams, who's a judge in Massachusetts. We had his nephew, Dominique, who's an educator down in Taunton. And, Dominique Williams has been an unbelievable guy. And we had, Paul Zukowskis. We had, I probably shouldn't go down this road because I'll miss some guys. But we had a great cross-section of guys that played for Coach Bicknell, Coach Coughlin, Coach O'Brien, Coach Adazio, some of the best guys, Coach Spaziani, a lot of guys that were here from those eras, from different occupations. They split up into rooms. They presented to the team, and then they split up into the rooms, and if the guy was interested in that occupation, he could go to that room and learn more about that industry. And I think that's what BC's all about. We have a niche, right? This is an excellent school that is striving to be the best in all areas. Football, academics, giving back to the community, and those guys are shining examples of that. So it's a program that we'll probably try to do that about 2 or 3 times during the year.
Coach, I have a larger question about the college football landscape.
Yep.
The NCAA settlement still has a lot of litigation and decisions to be made. with a potential $20 million cap and roster reduction. And there's a lot of talk about collective bargaining and maybe contracts for players. Do you think that's the right way forward, or do you have any thoughts on that?
I have a lot of thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure that now's the time to talk about. I definitely respect and appreciate the question. Look, I think that college football is in a very interesting place right now, and I think that every school's got to do what's best for them, right? And so I think at Boston College, we're doing what's best for us. We have a strong belief that we can combine football with great academics. Bring in the right guys that come from families that care about those things, but also, we have an ability to compensate the players. I mean, that's definitely something that we have, and we're definitely in that system. We're part of that system. But at the end of the day, we have a lot more to sell than that. When it comes to, collective bargaining and are they employees and all that, I'm not going to comment on that. That's for somebody above me to talk about. But I believe we're in a pretty good place right now at BC, just trying to get better every single day and see where we can take this thing.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
Back to football, just in what areas have you seen the team grow from the start of the spring until this point?
I think that the team has grown closer together. I think that, we added, I think it was 14 early enrollees. We added 10 guys out of the portal. I think the guys that were here accepted those guys, taught them the culture, taught them the way. I thought that was good. So I think the chemistry of the team's better. I think we improved in certain areas. I think our defensive line is very improved. I think the offensive line with the guys that are, like we talked about, a little bit new, or maybe not new to the program, but haven't played a whole lot, they got a lot better. I was very happy with the quarterbacks and how they played. When you have good quarterbacks up and down the roster, that makes your team better because the forward pass is thrown very well. So it makes your team better. You can evaluate better. You can do a lot of different things when your quarterbacks are really good. So I was happy with those positions, and I was really happy with everybody. That I think everybody showed up every day and tried to get better.
Earlier in spring, we talked about the soft tissue issue that you guys had. Just overall health-wise, how do you think you guys came out of this?
I mean, it's okay. I think some of that's us, and some of that's these guys taking responsibility for that. We added Joe Van Allen. He'll be the director of rehab here at BC. He's been here for about a month and a half. He's done an excellent job of helping educate these guys how to, eat properly, get the right amount of sleep. I mean, these guys are busy, so it's very, very difficult. I think we're doing a better job in the training room. I think Mike V and his crew do a really good job. The addition of Joe Van Allen's really helped. And then I think these guys, one of the things that they have to understand is, their body is their business. And so they have to do a good job of taking a vested interest in their own bodies and making sure that they're prehabbing and being ready to go when the bell rings. And I think they're getting better with that, but we can continue to improve there.
Did you come out of this with a lot of situational football from the scrimmage to evaluate?
Yeah, we always try to, later in the spring, we always try to do that. So we work, red zone, third down, backed up, goal line, 2-minute, some type of 2-minute situation. So I think I don't think we covered every situation. We'll get all of it covered in training camp, but I think we're well on the way to these guys understanding what we're trying to do in each situation.
And that applies to defense as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's both sides of the ball, and then even on special teams, with the backed up punt or the +50 punt today, some of those things that are really important in all three phases. Special teams too, situationally was big too.
Go ahead.
Billy mentioned Alex Bruin. It seems like he's got his explosiveness back.
Yeah, I think he had a really good spring. I'm really proud of that guy. I mean, he came back. I mean, sometimes when you get hurt like that, it's hard to come back. Especially you're a young guy and you're a college athlete, and it's difficult to come back from that. But he put his mind to it, and I was very impressed with how he practiced this spring to be able to come back from his injury. He did it a year ago. And to be able to perform like he did in spring was really awesome to see.
I know, Donovan, going through the NFL draft process right now, just with your familiarity of the NFL and systems and coaches, any place that you think would be a good fit for him, city-wise, player-wise, coach-wise, anything that you think?
Well, I think that's the thing about Donovan. He's a very versatile player, so he can fit in any system. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing is, when I talk to people, I get a lot of calls about all these guys. And when I talk to people about Donovan, I mean, it's not just as a pass rusher, right? He can play on a second level. He drops into coverage. He was the personal protector on the punt team. He covered kicks in his time here, and he's a great locker room guy. He's a BC guy. BC guys, if you listen to Matt Ryan, last week talk about, in the NFL locker room, I think that they're looking for guys like that now, right? They're not looking to babysit guys. They want guys that come in there and prepared to be a consistent performer every single day. And Donovan fits that bill. Ozzie fits that bill. Drew Kendall fits that bill. All those guys. So I think it's an exciting time for our program, and especially for those guys. And the higher they go, the better for everybody, right? The better for them, the better for us. And I hope they all go in the first round.
And just speaking more to the NFL and just your past, have you had any contact with Bill during his sort of spring session with UNC for the first time, or no?
Not during the spring, no. I mean, we text. We see each other on the ACC Zoom calls. I think we're busy. We're busy. I'll see him at the meetings in May. Look forward to seeing him, catching up. But no, we don't. We're not checking in each night to see how we each other did in spring ball that day.
And Coach, you mentioned the quarterbacks before, and I just want to get your thoughts again on Shaker. You mentioned, earlier this week how he should be still in high school, and just his confidence out there, his body language, his leadership. You can just talk a little bit more about his progression over the last couple of weeks in spring ball. It seems like for such a young guy, it's incredible where he is.
It really is. I mean, there's been very few freshmen that I've been around in my career in college football that have come in early enroll. Like back in the day, they came in August when training camp started. Now they come in January, and they've got to come from a high school locker room to a college football Division I locker room with a lot of veteran players and a lot of guys coming back, and to be able to assimilate into the locker room and then learn the offense and then learn how to call a play and then learn how to execute that play. I give a lot of credit to Shaker. I think he's a hell of a player, and I think he's got a great future.
Can you speak to the versatility of your tight ends, how they're fitting in, and just what you've seen from them so far?
Yeah, I think that when you look at Jeremiah Franklin, he's got a lot of experience. He can do a lot. He's an underrated blocker. He's a really good blocker, and he made some plays today in the passing game you guys saw out there. And then Ty Lockwood, the addition of Ty from Alabama, has been big for our offense. He's had a good spring, really good spring. He can block, and he can get open in the passing game too. And then Kalen Chinzinski, who just arrived here, another early enrollee from St. Sebastian's, has done an excellent job. He's really done a good job, and I think it's a big summer for him in the weight room and getting stronger and things like that. But he's really showed up in the passing game, so it's been good to see. All those guys can do a little bit of everything.
This time of year, how much will recruiting kind of ramp up now?
Yeah, now it goes. Yeah, exactly. These guys, the players here, they head into final exams here into April, into May, and then they take some time off. We, the assistant coaches, go out on the road and recruit here probably another week or so, and they'll be out for a while. I'll go out and try to raise some money, help raise some money, meet some alums and things like that. But yeah, it starts to ramp up in recruiting. Although you can see, like, as you know, we recruit every day, and you can see out there today, there were a lot of great recruits here today. Can't mention who was here, but I think it says a lot about where we're at, that people are excited about BC football. Now, we have to do our job, and we have to be successful on the field, but I think our coaches and Spencer, they're all doing a really good job with the recruiting.